Hello elephants and welcome, Alessandro here. This is like my third time recording this and I keep failing because I'm improving. But as you may know, Stephan and I recently released our 2-player puzzle map, Pseudo Elephant Trials, and it has some speedrun functionality. So what this video is about is we're basically going to run over some of the tactics we used in order to gain time and be able to do so well. Also, forgot to mention it, but spoilers ahead, just keep that in mind. With that said, let's get started. So at the beginning of the map, you just gotta click the sign. There's not much to do there, and then wait for the stick. Meanwhile, let me start telling you about the next tactic. So what we do is I align myself perfectly with the edge and wait for the bridge to appear. As soon as it appears, Stephan hits me in the back and pushes me to the teleportation portal so I can get there before he does. This allows me to orient myself properly so I can hit him as soon as he appears, as you just saw. Now for the next part, as soon as we are in hitting distance, we just punch each other. This allows it to be fast and efficient, and we don't have to be repeating that part over and over again. Now for this next part, there's actually a way you can get into the pig minigame immediately, but we missed it. You just gotta be looking at the door, and then the angle should send you right in there. For the pigs, just hit the rightmost pig to the rightmost wall, and that usually works. Here the pig walked, which kind of messed me over, but that's usually the fastest way of doing this. And then for this last part, you just gotta punch the other player as he's coming down, so he skips the second platform entirely, and that saves some time. Now for the last section that we just covered, there's actually a new tactic that Stephan and I just figured out yesterday, and we're publishing the map today, so we didn't really film it. But there's a way to skip the pig minigame, and it's super fast. So if you can figure that out, you can probably beat our time really easily. Anyways, for this part, what we do is we split the jobs. So Stephan is going to head over to get the second bow. And meanwhile, I'm going to try to get the flint and steel. So the tactic here is kind of hard because you got to shoot yourself like right through that hole. Right there, I missed. But if you practice, you can probably do that on your first try. Here, I luckily managed to get on the second try. So it wasn't too bad. And now for the parkour here, it's actually possible to jump off honey blocks properly. I just kept messing it up, like here, which just made me lose a lot of time. But it is possible. So if you can time those properly, you are set. Like you can beat our time easily. But I decided to wait for Stephan to switch the honeycomb to honeycomb, just because I kept messing up and I didn't want to risk the time. Now here, this is actually really tricky to do, but you can shoot yourself over to the campfire, which saves a lot of time. And then you just light the campfire and on to the next area. Okay, so quick pause right here. I felt obligated to show what Stephan does while I'm getting the flint and steel. There's this jump right here, which you can do. It's kind of tricky, but it allows you to get the bow without having to do any of the other stuff. And once you have it, you just run over to the campfire and wait for the person who's getting the flint and steel. Anyways, with that said, let's jump right back into it. Okay, so now for this section, Stephan was supposed to shoot me over to that honeycomb column, but he overshot me instead, which kind of made us lose a little bit of time, but it wasn't too much, so it's fine. And then for this section, we both know the path that we need to take, so that would be step 1. Just memorize the path. It's not that hard. I think it's just 16 different steps. And then you could talk with the person you're beating the map and do it better than we did, because basically Stephan and I were just trying to predict each other's moves and see like, oh, is he gonna hit the next move or should I hit it? Which ended up being a little bit inefficient since we didn't know who would hit the next one. But you can definitely learn it better than we did here. So with that said, that's this section. There's not much to it. Just do it as fast as you can. Now, I'm not going to mention much, but there's a way you can keep the bow in this section. It's up to you to figure it out. Anyways, for this parkour, you could either keep the bow if you figure that out, or you can do what I did here, which is a pro parkour jump, which was the first time that I actually got it on an actual speedrun run, and I was so happy. But that's basically all you can do in this section to save time. Okay, so now we're heading up to the maze, and the first thing that you gotta do if your partner's not here is throw the restart mushroom, because that teleports both of you to a location, which basically saves you some time as it gets the other person there. As for the rest of the maze, it's basically just memory work. So you gotta know what you're doing, like get a path, try to optimize it. We didn't really try to optimize it, so you can 100%, I'm sure this is not the fastest path. And if it is, you can still optimize it a lot because we click those buttons really slow. But if you find a good path and then just optimize the clicks, like learn what you got to do, know when to move to what other section, when to click those buttons, you can pretty much do this maze as fast as possible. I think it's one of the slowest parts because you're forced to do it and you gotta wait for the buttons to like replenish so you can click them again. But there is a lot of little things that you can do to save time here. Like if you're both on a blue button, like right here, we didn't really do it, but I could have clicked the button so that door was open and I wouldn't have to wait for Stephan there. Otherwise, there's not much else I think you could do here. Maybe there's like a super fast route that we don't know that's like super optimized. I have no idea. That's up to you, the viewer, to find out to beat our time. So I wish you luck with that. And let's go on to the next section. Now here what you gotta do is just grab the bows as fast as you can and get straight into the red fortress. I kind of messed up the jump because of course I did. There's not much to say to it. I just suck at parkour sometimes. But if you do that first try, that's really good. You just saved a couple seconds right there. But basically what the tactic here is get to the honeycomb and then just shoot yourself over to the red fortress and right into it and just abandon the other player. Like in this section, do not care about the other player because similar to the spinning maze, there's a reset item and then on the next puzzle, which will allow the player to get teleported. So it saves time to just keep on going without your partner and then just teleport him to where you are rather than waiting for him. So that's basically what we're doing here. I'm trying to shoot the arrows as fast as I can. Like don't really load the bow all the way back. Just as soon as you can shoot the arrow, let it go. And then of course I know what I'm doing. I know what colors should be where. And then for this castle, for example, instead of going in, I just jump on top of it and then immediately go into the thing, which is something you can do to save a little bit of time since you don't have to shoot the bow inside the castle or have to make yourself small. Anyways, here, as you see, I just get the restart dandy and get Stephan there by teleport him in. Okay, now that we were both in this room, I kind of jump into the brownish looking beacon and start shooting at the other island where the button is. That is just setting up the next jump for Stephan as he's going to have to move into the middle island. But meanwhile, I jump into the island to the left as this is the island that's going to be activated with the button after Stephan stands on the green beacon. So there isn't really much that you can do in this section to optimize except for knowing like the steps of which beacons you should step on and in which order. So those happen to be the brown beacon, which I first standed on, then the green beacon, which Stephan is on, and then this pinkish one. So I immediately make my way over there and stand on it. And Stephan, meanwhile, is heading over to the platform where the button is going to be. And right after he presses the button, I just head over to the blue beacon. And as soon as I stand there, Stephan is also in the platform with the button and he presses it. As you can see, I'm shooting the island just to set up the last jump while I wait for Stephan to press the button, just to be a little bit more time efficient. And then as soon as I make it there, I just jump and immediately leave this section. So now we're approaching the end of the map. All you gotta do is jump onto the like fallen tower and make your way inside to the hallway looking hall. And once you're inside, it's really easy, this section, because it's just like timing your jumps. Like you gotta notice like what color you're controlling because it can be random. So just as soon as you realize what button you are, you just make your way forwards. Now here I was kind of hoping for Stephan to make his way up. Unfortunately he fell, but if he had, he would have shot me here, and you can make your way into the last like section to the teleporter if he shoots you from there. Unfortunately he didn't make it, so I just told him when to jump, and we just timed our jumps until I made it to the very end, and then I just jump inside and head to the portal, because as soon as one of you gets in, the timer stops. So that's the end of the speedrun right there. As you can see, I'm just celebrating. I was super happy with the time we got, 515 seconds. Stephan was also super excited. It was just a whole lot of fun overall to try and do that time, and we surprised ourselves. Honestly, we didn't think we could do so well, and we're excited to see what you guys have to bring to the board, because I'm sure you can beat this time. by a lot. It's not that hard. Like, we just practiced. We might have played the map like 8 times before this recording from start to end, so I'm sure you can easily beat this if you put your heart to it. Anyways, I think that wraps it up for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel like playing the map. If you do, there's a link down in the description where you can download it and play it with a friend. And we wish you luck. There's a lot more things in the map, like there's Easter eggs and stuff. So we hope that you have fun playing it if you do decide to do so. With that said, thank you very much for sticking in and making it to the end. And I hope you have a great day / night / existence. And see you next time.